I'm excited to join you at one of Detroit's most illustrious watering holes, Cafe de Mongo's. This establishment was owned and operated during Prohibition by George Ciros, who ran it as Ciros Restaurant, which was allegedly a front for a Prohibition speakeasy. In 1985, current owners, Larry and Diane Mongo, bought the restaurant and it became Cafe de Mongo's. Today, I'm here with the owner, Larry Mongo, Detroit artist, Devon Cunningham, Cafe de Mongo's guest, Rose, and our mixologist, Christine. Christine is going to show us how to make one of Cafe de Mongo's signature drinks, the bee's knees. Christine, take it away.
Hello everyone, welcome to Cafe de Mongo's. I'm here to make one of our signature drinks, the bee's knees. It is made with simple syrup, muddled lemon, and Tanqueray gin. We've selected the bee's knees as our signature drink because it's made with gin. And during Prohibition, bathtub gin was well sought after alcohol. So let me give you a little sample. Sliced lemon, as many as you like. Dashes of simple syrup. And you can adjust this according to the sweetness that you prefer, or your guest prefers. Simple syrup is equal parts sugar and water until the sugar dissolves. Muddle your lemon. We use a vintage Planters peanuts container. They make wonderful little shakers. When you get all that little juice, Tanqueray. Don't measure, it's all alcohol. Good shake. Rebecca, are you trying this first one?
I'm trying the first one.
It's gonna knock your socks off. Cheers, darling.
Cheers. So, Larry, your family has been kind of in this business for a long time, am I right? I'm interested in what it was like to be, the owner of an establishment in the 20s. Did you ever hear stories like that from your family?
Yes, my whole life was brought up on stories. But when my family came up here from the South, they were what you consider mulattoes or octoroons. So racially, a person didn't know what they were. So they kind of fit in with the Sicilians, the early Sicilians. And right around, I guess, the 20s or whenever Prohibition started, they were in the coal business, my family. And some of the Sicilians told them, hey, look, you have connections in all the black communities. Why not get into this thing called illegal booze? So that's when the first Mongo, I guess, speakeasy started.
Devon, how did you first meet Larry? Because you didn't meet him right away when he opened the De Mongo's Club, right?
No, I have a history with the synagogue next door, going back to Rabbi Gamzee and E. Bernstein. So when Miss Rose came to me one day and showed me a newspaper article showing Lior Barak, the chairman of the board over there, young people whom Larry had recruited to help reopen the synagogue. Larry opened the synagogue with Barak. So when she showed me the article, I said, wow, I have a supplemental association with the synagogue, so I'll give a fundraiser and paint a show as a fundraiser to raise money for the synagogue. So I did paint the show. So Larry was in South America somewhere, so it was a couple of weeks before he got back in town. So when he got back in town, Lior made arrangements for me to bring me over to meet Larry. So when I hit the front door, when I walked in, I was just overwhelmed with, I thought I walked into the twilight zone. As I looked around, Larry was sitting right there and I didn't see him. So I heard his voice and I looked over and he said, I'm Larry Mongo. And so they introduced us and I told him, I said, I've been all over the world. I said, but I've never, ever seen anything that immediately overwhelmed me, like walking in here and seeing like my life exposed before me. That's how I met Larry.
Larry, you acquired these pieces. Was it during that show or just later as we went on?
2 pieces during the show, and I purchased more after the show.
That's amazing.
And I was shocked that he was friends with my uncle, who was 88 for 60 years.
Rose, I know you've got an interesting story
Well,
about.
it just a quick story when Andrew Zimmerer, who did Bizarre Foods America, came in here to try Larry's famous Chinese Peking duck, which is fabulous, and he hasn't made it in a very long time, by the way. You're due. But he came in and he sampled the duck, and he was talking to the gentleman who brought him here, and he said, how would you describe this place? And the guy said, it's a cross between a gangster hideaway and Liberace's living room. And I've always felt that he hit it right, hit the nail on the head, because that's what this place is like. It's so eclectic. I also wanted to mention, since you asked what it was like in here, and I'm sure they can tell you more, but I know my daughter, she's young, and this became her and her friends, the most exciting place they could talk about going to. And she said, I just can't believe my mother goes to the same bar. And that's how eclectic it is. There's older people, younger people. There's just a wonderful mix.
You've been doing this here in this space for a long time. Your family is a historic kind of speakeasy family in the city. What's your favorite story of what's happened here at DeMongo's or any of the places that you've been involved with?
Oh man, that's take more than 30 seconds. My favorite story, I would say, Ryan Gosling and Quentin Tarantino. When Ryan Gosling, I was sitting in my regular spot. He comes here with a group of people. See, I always watch gangster movies. I never watch any Ryan Gosling type movies. So he came in, and I walked up to the guy, and I said, sir, we crowded. I said, but I got a seat in the back behind the wall if you want. He said, okay. So I walked him back there. Next thing I know, in minutes, people just a frenzy. So they kept coming to me and saying, it's that. And I'm like, I don't know. I said, wait. I walked back behind the wall and I said, excuse me. I said, no disrespect to you, but are you some type of movie star or something? And he said, well, I said, look, only movies I watch is Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. So I said, are you? And he said, well, I went to the lady, I said, who? She said, Ryan Gosling. I said, are you Ryan Gosling? He said, yes. I said, oh my God. I said, can I bring the lady to you? He said, okay. He said, no, don't do that. I said, well, okay. He said, no, I'm going to get up and walk around. He actually sat at every table.
Oh my gosh.
He talked to everyone. Then he got on the piano and sang, and the place went crazy. He said, I'm going to come back all your birthdays. And I thought it was a joke.
Right?
A year later, I swear to you, I'm sitting here. Some guys made trouble at the door, so I got up and I said, hey man, hold it, didn't you hear what? All of a sudden he pulled back his hood. He said, happy birthday. I said, I do not believe this. I called him off.
What a guy.
But that has been, my life in this club has been the most beautiful time of my life and parts of my life.
L'chaim.
L'chaim.
All right.
Well, this has been a wonderful way to wrap up a great evening. If you've never had a chance to visit this amazing place, be sure to look for the Cafe DeMongo's package in our silent auction. And also, get your last bins in now on all your desired items because we're about to bring this wonderful evening to a close. Meanwhile, I'm going to enjoy this cocktail. Back to you, Ilana and Chris.
Thanks, Rebecca, and cheers.
Cheers.